Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Italian Football Podcast, the official podcast of Football Italia. I'm Carlo Garganese, joined as always by Nima Tavali. Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates Christmas. This will be our last show of 2025 and then we will be back for next week for the start of 2026. This weekend, all the big teams won in Serie A. Inter with a statement win at Atalanta, but Juventus, Milan and Napoli all winning as well with some standout individual performances for those teams. But at the other end of the table, it just gets worse for Fiorentina, who lose again in a relegation fixture against Parma. We will touch upon the Mercato because the January transfer window is just about to open. We'll have a look at some of the big transfers that could happen in January. And we'll also have our usual Baggio, Premface and Serie ASS of the week. Today's free episode of the Italian Football Podcast is sponsored by The Beautiful Game. Now, The Beautiful Game is the first zonal prediction app for football. So instead of traditional betting lines, users select the match, players, actions, and zones on the field to build the ultimate customizable prediction. It's basically like tactical chess meeting sports gaming, and it rewards actual footy knowledge over luck. So all of you that like to have a bet on football, this one is definitely for you. Additionally, while we exist in the sports betting market, we use a sweepstakes model that is legally not considered gambling. So in this way, we give users a very small amount of daily free play. It lets everyone enjoy our app, even if they aren't comfortable with putting up their own money. TBG Picks is footy first. We prioritize football IQ over random luck. And as I said before, TBG uses a zonal system that adds an extra dimension to sports gaming. So you've always been able to predict who the teams and the players, the actions and how much, the amount. But now you get even more customized with where, which are obviously the areas of the pitch. So this way the users really show off their ball knowledge and get higher multipliers than available elsewhere. And there's up to, and this is an important thing, $500 in free play over the first year. So we give out free daily credits so that users can play every day, no purchase is needed. So just check out the link in the description below of this episode. And if you use the promo code IFP25, it will grant you access to $5 and you'll get $30 in credit. So basically you deposit $5 and you get an additional free $25. So check out The Beautiful Game. Links as stated in the description of this video. And finally, thank you to the Beautiful Game for supporting the Italian Football Podcast.
I think people will notice that I didn't put the actual link in this description to avoid another https://.
Yes, that was a good thing to do, Nima. So if you want,
I'm making that into a T-shirt. To be honest, just a white T-shirt that has an https://.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody will rush out and buy that. If you want to support the Italian Football Podcast, receive all of our content that we do throughout the week without any ads, including our free Monday review show, our weekly Thursday Q&A, or it's not usually on a Thursday actually, it's usually on a Tuesday, a Q&A episode where we answer all of the questions from those, plus the Thursday midweek review show, plus interviews, post-match reaction, much more. Patreon.com/TIFP, $3.99 a month. And you can watch our free episodes and our video on YouTube, and become a patron on YouTube memberships, youtube.com/@itarfootpod. And you can also be a paid subscriber on Spotify. So whichever platform you consume us on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube, really appreciate if you give us a follow, subscribe to us, give us a like, and give us a 5-star rating, because that really helps us to grow. And if you've not already, do follow us on our social media platforms as well, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Okay, let's get into today's show. So we'll start off with the big match of the weekend, the Sunday evening game in Bergamo. Inter win yet again against Atalanta. It's just the usual story. They never fail against Atalanta. They're the bogey team of Atalanta. I thought it was a good performance by Inter. I thought they controlled the whole of the first half, and the second half was more even. But Inter got the goal. They made the most of a bad mistake from Atalanta, and really in the whole game, I thought Atalanta created only one real chance, and that was the bad Samatic miss, which would have been the equaliser. So all in all, it's let's say a bit of a statement win for Atalanta, given the situation at the top of the table with all the rivals.
Yeah, it was so far. If so far this season, it's been the story's been do better against the small teams, don't draw, beat them, but fail in the big matches in all competitions, really. Now, here we saw actually something different, in the sense that Inter were able to grind out a win against an Atalanta that Inter have a fantastic record against. It's a very, very important win. As much as Inter and Chievo and the players say they don't care and they're just focused on what the work they're doing and the big games, and doesn't affect them at all. Evidently, that's not true, because you could see how relieved they were at the end of it. They were they were very relieved. This is from a broader point of view. I think this is it's a very mentally important win. I said it before Christmas, before they went to Saudi Arabia for the Super Cup, that was an important win for Inter, because now they would have played the Super Cup, and they would have played, when the other rivals were in the Super Cup, they would still lead them when they return back. And that's exactly what's happened now as well, in the sense that now everyone won. Okay, Cremonese and Hellas, we're going to get to them. They're not exactly the most difficult opponents to play, but Inter had a difficult away game against an Atalanta who has, they've not had the best start to the season, but they actually are in good form, and they're doing well. Took a very important win against Chelsea in the Champions League. They're en route to finish in the top 8 in the Champions League stage as the only Italian team. So this does qualify as a big match, especially if you look at how Atalanta have looked. So this was the first big match that Inter won under Chievo, which is an important step in the right direction. However, on the other side, for Inter, they are vulnerable defensively. And I wonder, against the bigger teams, if they're going to play like this, how much they will be made to suffer, as they have been made to suffer this season. I'm thinking of Arsenal, the immediacy, in the immediate future, rather. Arsenal is going to be a big test at the San Siro. And it's going to be fundamentally important for Inter not to lose that game. They don't have to win it, but they most definitely have to get a point from there in order to finish in the top 8 and avoid playing that playoff fixture. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is Inter's depth in attack proves vital. Seconds or minutes after Pio Esposito comes on, he provides the assist. Okay, it was a howler by Jim City, but still, the depth in attack provides important for Inter, as it has this season throughout, and that's going to be very, very important to keep up in the Serie A, which has to be the most important focal point of Inter this season, is to win the Serie A. They have to mount a serious title challenge, and to win the Serie A is vital for them. So it's good. It's very important. It's a very important win. It's a 1-0 win. Lautaro scores. The depth provides important again. And it's it's a vital 3 points. It's a clear message sent to the other two in the title race, and perhaps even 3, because Juventus are not that many points behind. But we're going to get to Juve as well, and their game against Pisa.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with Atalanta, especially the first half. I was really disappointed with Atalanta. They were so negative. Maybe partly from the fact they got a terrible record against Inter. They didn't want to open up too much, but they just didn't push anyone forward at all. Scamacca was so isolated, and every single time that Atalanta did have a counter-attack, and there was a few times down the right-hand side where Zappacosta and De Ketelaere were making these kind of raids up their right flank and getting away from Bastoni, like time and again. I wasn't particularly happy with thinking ahead to the Italy playoffs. Not happy with Bastoni's one-on-one, 1 versus 1 defending, and the players kind of run at him. Like, he just, for me, doesn't make enough tackles. He plays go past him too much, and that actually happened quite a lot in the first half. But every time it happened, Atalanta had no one up the pitch. They got into that right channel quite a few times, and there was no one with them. Zappacosta was completely on his own, or De Ketelaere was completely on his own. And then they had to there's nothing they could do, and they just the attack got wasted because literally no one joined them in the counter attack. Scamacca was so isolated. The second half, Atalanta were a little bit more positive, and I thought the second half, all in all, was quite even, and Atalanta kind of tried to push for the equaliser at the end, and they should have got the equaliser. There's an awful miss from Semih. I don't know whether that might have been an offside in the build-up, but it was an awful miss. So I thought second half they were a bit better, but overall I was very disappointed with Atalanta. You're at home. But some of the credit can go to Inter. I thought they controlled the game well. They had the possession. They were the kind of like the bosses and the masters on the pitch. So we have to give credit to Inter. But I was disappointed with Atalanta. I thought that they would have asked more questions of Inter in this game. But yeah, credit to Inter. Lautaro, the winner again. The only other thing I wanted to say was Zielinski. He's becoming more of a central part under Kivu, and I think he's playing really well at the moment. Like the way that he's kind of, when he's on the ball, he provides another ball playing. I mean, they've got quite a few ball players in the midfield, but he's so good on the ball, tight areas, and we're kind of starting to see a little bit more of the. I don't think he's the Napoli Zielinski anymore because he's a bit older, but I think we're starting to see more of a player that's actually useful for Inter now, rather than the Zielinski that we saw last season, and even the Zielinski we saw in his last Napoli season where he'd kind of decided to leave. So I think that's also a positive for Inter going forward. They've actually got another player there now.
Yeah, that is good for Inter, and I thought Barella played well, even though I think that miss was horrible. That's a sitter, and his finishing continues to haunt him. But overall, I think Inter's midfield looked good. I do think that I wonder if another ball player in the middle, in that pitch, in the middle of the park, is what Inter need, especially given how Kiva wants to play. In the sense that Kiva wants to press higher up, he wants to play higher up, he wants to push higher up. Zielinski doesn't strike me as that kind of a midfielder. He's much more of a retained possession kind of guy. That's why I'm thinking they have a little bit too many midfielders of the same kind. Well, some would say the counter argument to that is they have Fratesi. My counter argument to that is Davide Fratesi is not a football player. Have you watched him complete a pass unattacked properly without fluffing it? No, I can't even remember the last time we saw him do that. That isn't sideways, of course. He's good at passing sideways, but passing forward, he just can't do that. And so Inter really lack a midfielder that has presence, physicality, and dynamism. That is something that they need to decide what they're going to do. What's going to happen with Andy Diouf? Is he going to be the rotation player on the right to Luis Enrique, who I thought was decent again. Another good outing by him. He's really coming into the mold. But yeah, I think those are the question marks I have moving forward is, okay, what are they going to do in the window? They've made it very clear that midfield is not what they're prioritizing, and it shouldn't be. It should be a defender. And that seems to be fairly clear. And there's talk of Palestra, which Marotta, I think, alluded to as well. But regardless, that's something to keep an eye on, because I think if they're going to continue with Kivu, they're going to need someone, a physical midfielder, a dynamic, physical bone crusher, if you will, that kind of a midfielder. They don't have that. They have ball players. And I'm not sure if that's the right move. I'm just kind of saying this is what I can observe, that when you play the kind of football that Kivu wants to play, you need to have someone who eats kilometers on the pitch, who has physical presence. I don't see very many of those in Inter's midfield, and I think they need to have that for this Kivu football to be successful, given that it's very, central and vertical down the middle, much more than it was under Inzaghi and even under Conte. But it
worked well in this game, and also I think that the Inter's biggest weakness under Kivu has actually been on transitions and counterattacks, and we didn't see many of those, not through the middle in this game. We saw some of them on the side, especially on Bastoni's side, but as I said, Atalanta.
Well, that's again, you single out Bastoni, and I'm saying that Bastoni's not working because there's a defensive hole there. It's a structural issue more than an individual error. He doesn't seem to know what he's supposed to do, and that is a structural problem. We've seen Bastoni play 5-6 years for Inter, where he works in a system where there's clear instructions as to how to defend, how to attack, when to fall back, what happens when you lose the ball. That's not there, and he looks completely
maybe that's true. Maybe that's true to an extent. But I also say that my issue with Bastoni is also his one-on-one defending, which is regardless of system, and that's the issue. Players run at him one-on-one when he's isolated. He gets done. He gets taken on. So that's irrelevant to system. That's just individual quality of
the fact that he gets exposed 1v1 time and time again is a problem, and that is a structural issue.
It is a problem. But I'm saying with Bastoni, my issue with him is I don't think he can defend one-on-one, and I think that's a big problem for Italy.
I think he can defend 1v1 in a proper system that is designed to get the best out of him. I mean, unfortunately, we don't live in the era of football when you and I grew up, where you had more individually skilled, technically skilled players. We live in a system era of football, and players with particular skills in systems tend to shine overall. Of course, there are players that break the mold, but with Bastoni, I think it's clear that definitely for Italy,
you think he's struggling for Inter?
I think he is, because I don't think this system suits him, and I don't think Kivu has managed to resolve the tactical problems that Inter have playing this system, and he's left exposed and he doesn't know what to do. And so far, Kivu's not been able to resolve that. But I think more than that, you can see it for Italy, where you have a block of players at a club used to playing. Well, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. There is no system. It's from ever since Italy won the Euros and Mancini resigned, there's been no system. It's been throw shit at a wall and hope something sticks. And he has become some sort of a symbol of that problem. It's much deeper than just the formation when it comes to Italy.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Let's move on to Milan. Dominant win here for Milan, 3-0. That man, Pulisic, again, breaks the deadlock, first half injury time. Until then, the game was very even. There wasn't much in it. After that, Milan totally dominated and could have won by even more. He's become so clutch now. Is he Serie A's most clutch player, Christian Pulisic? I mean,
in the sense that when you say, last season Scott McTominay became the most valuable player. If you define valuable, a lot of people take that as he was the best player in the Serie A. No,
Is he the most clutch player this season? McTominay, I would agree, was the most clutch player last season. Clutch player as
well, that's what I was going to get to.
Score the most important goals.
That's what I was going to get to.
Winners,
yeah,
first goals.
That's what I was going to get to. That the definition is he the best player of the Serie A? Technically, no. Is he the most important player in terms of being decisive for his team? I don't think there's many who can disagree with that. Same way that Scott McTominay last season was without a doubt the most important player, the most valuable player, together with Romelu Lukaku when they won the Scudetto. And I think that is that, you know, he makes everything look so easy in the sense that, again, I was talking about systems, and football is a system based now much more than it's ever been. He works perfectly in that system at Milan, and that's why he scores important goals. I mean, I can't remember which game it was recently. He came on within 60 seconds. He'd scored one and almost won a penalty for a second.
When he had the flu.
When he had the flu. I mean, exactly. Yeah, he interprets the system really, really well. Better than anyone right now in the Serie A.
And it's not even his position as well.
Exactly. But it's about the system. It's not even about the position anymore, the formation as much. It's about the kind of system and the kind of runs he needs to do, where he needs to go, when and how he needs to go and where in order to make the system work. And I think he is right now. If that's the definition of valuable, yes, I would say he is the most valuable player in the Serie A right now.
His 8th goal of the season. It's his 50th goal involvement in Serie A. So yeah, he's definitely underrated. I think, unlike his rumored girlfriend Sydney Sweeney, who is overrated. I just said it. Although he did actually come out and say it's fake news at the end of the game. So all people are talking about Pulisic and Sydney Sweeney. What is it with everyone going on about Sydney Sweeney? Like, I don't get it. I don't
even know who that is.
Well, there you go. That's what one of my best friends said as well. I didn't even know who it is. Honestly,
who is it? Who is it?
Apparently, she's an actress. She's an actress. She's
right.
Anyone under 30 thinks that Sydney Sweeney is the most beautiful woman that's ever set foot on the earth. Honestly, like,
okay.
I'm not going to get there because people will start getting upset. You can't say anything nowadays.
I don't know who it is.
I don't get all the the craziness over her. I don't get it at all.
Is she American? Is she British? Who is she?
She's American. Her name's Sydney. I mean, how many Sydneys do you know that are not American? Sydney from Scream, isn't it? Right.
Dear.
Hello, Sydney. Right. Where were we?
I thought it was important for Milan to win without Leao. I mean, Jimenez is kind of a lost cause, not just because of the injury, but just overall his situation. But Leao was gone, and Nkunku.
Well, Nkunku was the point I was going to make. Like, did he just save his Milan career? Because there's a lot of people that were reporting before the game that Milan were very unhappy with Nkunku and might even consider getting rid of him in January already, having made a big investment. So he scores 2 goals here. Okay, one was a penalty for, I mean, these penalties that get given for these kind of pushes in the box are just ridiculous. And then he scored the second, which was a tap in, but it was, he scored 2 goals, which obviously is not going to go unnoticed. So, yeah, maybe he's just saved his Milan career. Maybe how much he's going to play as a first team player when Leao's back, and I don't know, but and Füllkrug as well. I mean, that's an interesting one. Is Nicholas Füllkrug a good signing? I mean, he's been a total disaster at West Ham. He's got no goals this season. I think he's 32 years old. He's not been up to the pace of the Premier League. He's looked way, way off it. He's become
not Premier League proven, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. But I mean, he's become a joke with West Ham fans. I know a few West Ham fans have just said this guy is like one of the worst.
Well, West Ham are a bit of a joke this season. So
they are. So that says it all. He's been one of the worst players West Ham, which is a strange one because he was brilliant at Dortmund. He had a couple of absolutely fantastic years with Germany where he looked like a real player, like scored goals at the World Cup and at the Euros, and was a real handful, real good box player, back to goal, good in the air. like good link up. Like he looked like a really, really good player. So the question is with Füllkrug is it the case of an average career who went through a bit of a purple patch for a couple of years? If that is that the case, if that's the case, that's bad for Milan. Or is it a case of look, he'd come into a late bloomer, come into the top of his career, and then went to West Ham or a basket case, and everything's fallen apart. In which case, he can be resurrected at Milan.
Well, I think the red thread. I don't know either, but I think the red thread to this pod, anyone doing shots, drinking every time I say this on the pod will be pissed by now. But yeah, system player. What system does he work in? What kind of striker does Milan need? They want someone to do exactly what you said. Hold up the ball, back against the goal, link up. That's what he's being brought in to do. But then again, there's also, is he past his best? I think yes, at the age of 32, I do think he's past his best. But again, the counter argument to that is we can call it the Milan model now. Taking older strikers who are past their best and putting them into the lineup and doing really well. Giroud, Zlatan. So I'm not comparing Füllkrug to any of them in terms of individual skill and quality and brilliance. But again, Milan have deserved us to give them the benefit of the doubt because we've seen them do this before. And if Allegri wants him, Allegri knows what he's missing and why he's missing it. And I think for Füllkrug will be another tool in his toolbox in different games to resolve different problems and questions asked in specific games when teams perhaps are really, really defensive against them and pack the midfield and pack centrally. They might need someone to hold the ball up, also defensively to hold the ball up and give time for the team to breathe. For Modric, give those extra seconds to Modric to build from the back. That's the kind of player he's being brought into to Milan, to the role that he's being brought in to fill at Milan. But yeah, it's an interesting moment. If he were to succeed as well, I think we have to really call it the Milan model because
well, you know what I think he's going to come in. I think it will be an initial loan, maybe with an option. I might be wrong there. I look at this signing as Milan need a striker now, but they're keeping their powder dry for the summer, and
which is a smart thing to do.
They'll bring in their main number 9, and that will be probably a Vlahovic or maybe a Lewandowski, or maybe they will spend and go for a Mateta, who they really, really like. That's what I think. Otherwise,
wouldn't you love if they brought in Lewandowski? I mean, Jesus, him in the Serie A. I don't care that he's old. I'd love it.
And he's still doing pretty well for Barcelona, isn't he? And we've seen with Modric, who again was absolutely brilliant again, and he hit the post for the goal, the third goal that Nkunku put in the rebound. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he can still do it. Let's move on to Napoli. Napoli win comfortably against Cremonese. It's been a good end to the year for Napoli because they were starting to stutter. They had that awful week where we thought that they were back on it with the new back 3 formation, and then they got hammered in the Champions League by Jose Mourinho's Benfica, and then they lost in the weekend after as well. Was it Udinese that they lost to? And then they went to the Super Cup and they
won it.
They won the Super Cup. I mean, it's not a big competition, but they were actually played outstandingly. They had 2 dominant wins in that Super Cup against Milan and Bologna. And then they had another dominant win here against Cremonese, where they really were completely, I mean, from start to finish. So Cremonese rallied a little bit at the end, but it was a emphatic win for Napoli. So yeah, it's a good end to the year. It was a good end to the year for Napoli, which I think they needed because it's been a difficult first half of the season for them. The biggest positive for this game, and I think Antonio Conte said it at the end of the game, that he's starting to. And if Conte says it, then I think if he's acknowledging it, then I think it's definitely true that Rasmus Hojlund is growing, and he's also had a really good December. He's scored 2 goals in this game. He's had 5 shots in this game, 3 key passes. So those are outstanding numbers. But December, he scored 5 goals. This month, There we go. He played well in the Super Cup as well. Nima's putting in his what do you call those?
Snooze.
That's it. Snooze. Yeah.
Swedish.
So
Don't worry
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. You snooze, you lose. Right. Yeah. So Hojlund, looking really good, and that's an interesting one now because Lukaku is almost back. It's going to be a case now of easing him in now, getting him match fit. Who plays out of Hojlund and Lukaku with Lukaku back? Can you play both? Do you rotate? I mean, Lorenzo Luca's going to be offloaded. I mean, what?
I think Napoli should be a bit careful with Lorenzo Luca because you don't know what kind of physical status Lukaku is in, and if he can, where is he in his career? Has he reached the point now where he's going to be injury prone and he can't take the physicality and play at this level and so on and so forth? So I would advise Napoli to keep Luca until the end of the season to see where Lukaku is. If Lukaku is able to slowly come back into form, if he's able to play without being injured, without pulling muscle injuries, then okay, in the summer you have a better shot of selling Luka. I think it's an unnecessary risk because Lukaku is coming back from a long injury absence. He's going to need time to recover. And also age, time waits for no man. Where is he in his physicality? I understand that they need to sign a midfielder, and that's a pressing issue. But I wonder if sometimes if they sell Luka just in terms of numbers, you're cutting your nose to spite your face a little bit. Because yes, you do need that reinforcement in another area. But at the same time, what happens if Lukaku is injured again and Rasmus Hojlund, you can't play Hojlund every single game? He's going to get injured too, and then you're back to square one. So I would be a little bit careful there, is what I'm saying. I would probably not rush Lukaku back. I'd give Lukaku the time and space needed to get back into form and see where he is. Because I think it's when players reach that age, and especially the kind of striker and the type of striker Lukaku is, relies a lot on physicality. His game now, with his speed and explosion gone, he relies a lot on his physical presence in winning the ball high up, being able to, he's a strong guy. Can he do that still? Can he occupy two defenders just with his back against them? That's going to be key. And I think Napoli shouldn't rush.
Yeah. I think Luca would be alone, but you're right. Yeah, obviously they would be a man down in attack.
Be careful, but to kind of answer your question, I think Hojlund is the future for Napoli. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he has shown that he is their number one striker. He's going to be, because Lukaku's not getting any younger, and they should build around Hojlund. The question is, can Lukaku even be a substitute or a rotation player now in the Serie A at a Napoli, playing in the Champions League, wanting to win the Coppa Italia, wanting to win the Serie A? Can he physically do it? I'm not so sure, because when they reach this age, that's when the body starts to, no longer do it. They're human beings made of flesh and blood. We have to remember that. They're not robots. And Lukaku's body's taken a hell of a beating these years when he's played at the top. And I think it's a big question mark. So I think Hojlund is the future. I think Lukaku, if they can kind of ease him in and his body can take it, then cool, sell Luka in the summer. But I think it's clear that Hojlund is the starting man now. I think that's clear.
I think, listen, it will help with obviously the rotation, with Napoli always being, Conte teams always being tired when they're playing twice a week, and when the Champions League's resuming now in January, and Napoli have got it all to do. Well, they've got a clinched qualification. Still, it's not going to be easy. They might even need 4 points, I think, from their two games. So yeah, I think that will help for that for sure. Let's move on to Juventus, who win at Pisa. They didn't play particularly well. They all acknowledged that, but they finished the game strongly. it's kind of been the story of Pisa's season, certainly against the big teams. This was a virtually identical game that they had against Inter, where for 70 minutes they were really the equal of Inter, as they were the equal of Juventus, and then they just kind of fell away in the last 20 minutes, and the quality of the opposition, maybe tiredness, kind of it proved the difference in this game. I think that for Juventus, there was one man in particular who changed the game, and that was Zhegrova. Until he came on, it was very easy for Pisa. Yildiz was the only threat, and so Pisa were able to kind of double mark him. And Koopman is not an attacking midfielder. He must never play there ever again. Zhegrova come on, and we saw how good Edon Zhegrova can be. Zhegrova is devastating down the right. The key pass he did for the opening goal was magnificent. It was.
So what do you do? This kind of moves to the point which I want to discuss. But with Yildiz, Chico Conceição, and Zhegrova, to me, that looks like a 4-2-3-1 setup in the making, more than a 3-4-2-1. If you can play Chico Conceição on the left and Zhegrova on the right and Yildiz into the number 10, would that work?
I don't know whether Conceição can play on the left. I don't think that the two of them are. I mean, this goes back to, just how badly this Juventus have been constructed in the Mercato. I don't think Zhegrova and Conceição are compatible. I hope they would be, but I don't see them. I don't see them being
with a Locatelli, Thuram in the double pivot in behind them. It's an interesting discussion.
I don't think they're compatible. Can Conceição play left wing with Zhegrova on the right? Has he played there in his career? I don't know.
I don't know. It's an interesting question. And the broader point I want to make is, well, clearly Spalletti can make a 3-4-2-1 work or a back three work. This is if he had this level of humility, Spalletti, for the Italy national team, he would still be the Italy national team manager. There, he was just cranky and proud and stubborn and fighting with everything and everyone, and it cost him his job, and it left Italy in a very precarious situation. But now, he actually proves that what I remember when he took over, I was like, well, if he has played with a back three before, and he's done so well. Clearly, he can still do that. I'm just a little bit miffed that he didn't do that for the Italy national team. Everyone would have been better for it, but. And again, the way that he uses the midfield,
it's still early.
But still, it's
how he does.
Good.
Yeah,
it's looking good. I mean, he's. I'm not saying basing on this game. I'm basing on the last 4 wins across 2 competitions in a row. It's looking good, and it's looking much more better than it's been. And I think he deserves credit for that, playing a 3-4-2-1. But I guess my point is. It's frustrating that he can make it work with a Juventus that is qualitatively so much poorer in terms of quality, and then the Italy national team that he had, and he couldn't at all get it to function.
Maybe he's learned. Maybe he has learned.
Well, that's the point I'm making.
He has learned and become a better manager for it, which is good.
Which is very good.
At his age of his career. But 3 wins in a row, 7 in 8 in all competitions. They are obviously those speak for themselves. Those results speak.
But this was a gritty win. This was a lucky win. I mean, Pisa hit the woodwork twice. Okay, Juventus also hit it, but before they hit the woodwork, Pisa hit it twice. And this was not a beautiful win by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it wasn't. It was a horrible game to watch until the last kind of 20 minutes when they got the goal. They were knocking on the door. They were taken over by the time they scored. I think the goal was coming. And Pisa, you saw the drop off. But I mean, the game changer was Zhegrova, and we saw Zhegrova. There is no doubt about the abilities of this man. This guy, one-on-one, dribbling. He's as good as anyone in Serie A. He's the way that he runs at players, the way that he drops his shoulder, but even his vision, like the way that he sees. I mean, I think Spalletti said that I've seen very few players of Zhegrova's level in that area of the pitch. He plays as if he's wearing 3D glasses. Like the way that he sees players in his peripheral vision, or even outside of his vision. I think they call it shadow play in football, where you see a pass or you do a move where, you know, the player, you can't see the player that you're passing to, like you just feel it sometimes. They're the best players.
I call it the Totti vision is what I call that. Totti was a master of that. Totti was
you can't,
for me, he's probably the best Italian player I've seen in my lifetime. Even better than Baggio at that. This knowledge of knowing where everyone is, even when you don't see it, and then play the inch perfect pass to that player. For me, that's Totti vision. And Zhegrova's got, and Zhegrova, what I like about him is how I love players that can shift their weight so easily. When you have such a low center of gravity, that they can just turn around so easily. It's like he's on his right side now, so you can push him, but then all of a sudden he just so swiftly and easily goes to the left. It's beautiful to watch. I love players.
It's beautiful to watch, and it's also, we don't have enough of these players that they get you, that you want to watch the individual, because football's become just a bunch of AI robots.
It's just system based. See, again, the red thread. That's the fifth shot they'll be having. If they're having a shot every time we talk about system players, they'll be half a bottle down now.
This has become your patterns of play, hasn't it?
Exactly. Well, in this episode for sure, but I
add it to the Nima bingo card.
Yeah, but I keep changing every week to avoid you guys being able to play that bingo. But this episode is about the red thread, the
Conte's
drinking game.
Marching band seems to still get mentioned every week.
Yeah, but that's not my. I can't take credit for that. It's a friend. It's a friend of mine who came up with that.
You still say it, but yeah.
Well, because it's true. It's a brilliant analogy.
You say it,
but it's important to source things.
You're like my dad. Every time you say it as if it's the first time you said it, and you repeat it to everyone. That's what you do. So my friend once said, like, as if you've never said it before. When you said
this
it,
is not. It's funny to me.
My dad does this all the time, and I try
you say
to
it.
I tried to stop my dad because I know everybody's heard the story like 100 times. He doesn't care. He'll still talk over them and tell the story again. Like
anyway. This is not the first time you've likened me to your dad, which I take as a compliment. I love your dad. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. I love him. But, I remember when I visited the cake shop, and Carlo, as soon as your dad and I were talking, you just kind of disappeared because you didn't want to deal with both of us at the same time.
Pretty much. My dad is enough on his own
without backup.
Yeah, but no. What the point I was going to make? This is an important point on Zhegrova. He's clearly. I mean, as Paletti said, he's unable basically to play more than 25 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a couple of reasons for that. One is, I don't know his body, again, he had a bad injury, was out for most of the year. He's quite injury prone. His body just isn't up to playing a lot of football at the moment, which is a bit concerning. They did try to start him in one game. I can't remember who it was against. He was a total disaster. Just wasn't up to the pace. So he's more useful coming on in the last 20, 25 minutes where the pace and the intensity, the pressing of the opposition has dropped massively, and then he can take advantage of that. He's not ready at all to play from the start of the match. He's just not at that physical, intense level, which is a bit concerning. They need to try and find a way to get him to that level. And the other reason is defensively, he's not good in the defensive phase. He's dodgy. Like he gives the ball away stupidly in his own half, which resulted in the goal that Roma scored, which reopened the game at 2-0 to make it 2-1. But even in this game, he was giving the ball away stupidly in his own half. And also, I think it's been talked about just his whole kind of tracking back and following his man and being alert and keeping a defensive line, which again, much more important at the start of the game, where you've got to be switched on and you've got to give your all both ways than it is in a scenario where the score is 0-0 and you're pushing, the other team are defending, and you need someone to come on and get you the goal to win you the game. So it depends on the scenario for Zhegrova as to when he's useful. So this is the question mark with him, because there's no doubt about the ability of the player. The player is a special talent, one-on-one, and he's amazing to watch. So Again, this is part of modern football, and so that's the issue with Zhegrova. It's a lot more complicated. I mean, the bottom line is they just need to try and get him fit. They need to get him fitter because he's a big weapon. But even if he's only useful for 20, 25 minutes in a game, he's still going to be a big weapon. And we've seen that because every time he comes
interested, on. I want to kind of focus on, okay, we're match day 17 for Juve, 16 for the top three, 17 for the rest of the league pretty much. But how far can Juve go? They're 4 points behind Inter, 3 points behind Milan, 2 points behind Napoli. Okay, all of those teams have a game in hand. But with the games coming up, Lecce, Cagliari, etc., this could go on this win could go on for a bit for Juve, and the Sassuolo as well. I think they got playing as well. It's going to be interesting to see when we're at the end of January, when where are Juve? Where are they in terms of the Scudetto? Because I'm not prepared to completely. I'm not saying they're going to win the Scudetto, but I'm saying to count them out of a title race would be too premature, given how things look. And of course, once they're in there, how does that impact the dynamic of the race as a whole? How do Milan react? How do Napoli react? How do Inter react? With a Juve and Spalletti coming out of left field from nowhere. That's a very interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, numerically, qualitatively, I don't think this Juventus team is good enough.
No, I think we all agree on that.
To challenge or let alone win the Scudetto.
Yeah.
But numerically, at the end of this run where they play Lecce, Sassuolo, Cremonese, Cagliari, if they get 4 wins, and they should, even with this squad, they should win. Well, the Sassuolo game's not easy. Sassuolo are a good team, but they should be looking to win all 4 of those games. Numerically, there's a good chance they will be right in the title race if they win those 4 games.
If not even top of the league by the end of this run.
I wouldn't go that far. But Inter win the game and now they're 7 points ahead. So I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but they'll be numerically in the title race, even if they're a few points behind. They'll be numerically in the race, so then it becomes interesting. And we've seen before in the past, teams can, once they get hot, can ride the crest of a wave, and who knows? But yeah, I don't.
But the thing is, when it comes to Inter, you have to understand that from the Bologna game this weekend after New Year, Inter literally play every 3 days in the Serie A and the Champions League until and including the 1st of February, where that game hasn't been decided or confirmed yet, where they play away against Cremonese. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, of which 1 game against Bologna, 1 game against Napoli, away to Udinese, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund included. That's going to be this is where we'll know at the end of this run if Inter are going to win the league or not. I think by the end of January we'll know if Inter will win the league and where they will be, that because of this run that I just read. And if Juventus are thereabouts, well, you know how it is when it comes to, when you're like buzzing and you've been hammered all season and criticized all season and no one's giving you any, chance to do anything decent. But if you're thereabouts, and who knows, even if you're top of
I think it's a busy period for everyone. Juventus have got 9 games in a month as well, from January the 3rd until February the 4th. So it's a busy period. We will see the squads, and I don't think Juventus have got the squad either to cope with that. Whereas I think an Inter and a Napoli, if they've got their players fit, do have the squad, and obviously Milan are only playing once a week. So we'll see.
Yeah, but the games that the opponents matter. The only tough game on paper, if we're perfectly honest, that Juve have in this period is Napoli.
Yeah.
I don't, Benfica at home. Okay, it's Mourinho against Spalletti. Oh. That's going to be very, very funny. Monaco away. Okay, Champions League.
Well, we'll see. We'll also see the small teams, whether Juventus can do what Inter do, which is
that's the key.
That's the key in any title race, because do Juventus have the firepower to steamroll these teams, especially when they're playing 9 games in a month? That's a question mark. Especially when you're playing away from home. But they're getting by at the moment without playing particularly amazing, and there is improvement. So that has to give them that has to give them hope. Quick
But
one
equally, if you look at Napoli's fixture list, Chelsea, Juve, and then it's an Inter. So those are 3 tough games for Napoli as well. Whilst Milan, they've got Roma, and they don't play every 3 games. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games until February 1st. And the toughest game is against Como away. That's going to be tough. Roma away. That's going to be tough, at least on paper. And Bologna away. So
I'll be honest, but putting Juventus aside, who I don't really see as a realistic title challenger. I certainly can't say that now, but I don't think anybody's going to pull away, and I don't think this month's going to be decisive for any of the 3 teams. I don't see anybody running away with it this year, not at this stage.
This is usually, I just want to say, this is usually when Antonio Conte, when he wins titles, goes on a run in the league, not in the Champions League, where he focuses on the league and he clean sweeps and opens up a comfortable little window. Is he able to do that? That's that. For me, the title race will be not decided mathematically, obviously, but I think we'll get a very strong indication of who will win the league by the end of by February 1st.
Okay, we have to move just quickly in like one sentence. Should Gilardino be sacked by Pisa?
No, because what is he supposed to do? I mean, who's going to come in and do any better than what he's done? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, they're 3 points off of Genoa who are safe. They have a game in hand, of course. But what is he supposed to do? I mean, they didn't exactly give him a squad to do much better than he's done. I agree.
They're a relegation squad. And for me personally, I think they look like a team that are really well coached and organised.
Yeah,
and they're in games. They don't tend to get hammered. And I think they're good. They just don't have the quality, especially in attack. And they've got one goal at home all season, which maybe they should be doing better than that. But yeah, that's there's one final point that I want to make before we move on to the Mercato. We still got to go through the rest of the fixtures, but there's one point I want to make about this weekend, which the point I've made before, but having seen a lot of people complain about this on social media, that the people running the Serie A are complete idiots. We know that. we know that, right?
Tell us what you really feel, Carlo.
That's nothing new. But this was alerted to me by one of our patrons, actually. So on our Q&A episode, where we get some fantastic questions from patrons.
We do.
I really would recommend that those of you that like the show, because actually our most popular episode is our Q&A, because it's completely unscripted. Like, we don't go away. We don't go away and do any massive research. We just turn up and we make it, and people like the natural dynamic.
Yeah,
and
very off the cuff.
It's off the cuff, but we'd like to think that we've actually got the knowledge that we don't come across like not knowing your answers to your questions. But we actually learn a lot from our patrons.
Yeah, we do.
I've been moaning and complaining a lot because I always moan about the use of the Red Bulls in Serie A. And how I can't see anything.
Color blindness is an issue, yeah.
And color blindness is an issue. And we actually got one of our patrons, and apologies, I've forgotten the name, sent in and actually educated us on color blindness.
Because he works with this.
Because this is his literal job. Now, this is where the people running Serie A are so clueless, right? Did you know?
Green background, red ball.
Yeah, let me explain it to people, right? Did you know that 8% of men in the world have red-green color blindness, including me, obviously. And so, what do you think happens, Nima, when for the Winter Serie A what do you think happens, Nima, when for the winter
people can't see it? They can't see the game.
A red ball on a green pitch.
They can't see it.
We can't see shit.
Literally cannot watch the game.
We cannot watch the game. And red-green is the most common color blindness.
Common one, yeah, I know.
Which is what I also learned from our patron. So you think that the Serie A would consider that before they blind 8% of their male audience, wouldn't you? That's one That's 1 in 12 people who can't see shit when they watch the Serie A. And people wonder why Serie A can't sell a life jacket on the Titanic. People wonder why they can't sell Serie A TV rights. People wonder why people don't watch the Serie A when 8% or 1 in 12 people, 1 in 12 of your, because I think women, there's a less, for some weird reason, genetic reason, there's a smaller number of women who have red-green
colorblind,
or colorblindness. I don't know why that is the case, but something to do with the chromosomes, genetic. Anyway, it's something to do with the chromosomes. Yeah, it's to do with the XY and XX or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I mean, listen, we're laughing, but I'll be honest with you.
I just love how you express yourself.
For the last month, honestly, I've barely been able to watch the Serie A. I'm really struggling.
Yeah, I know.
Because
it's a real thing. Color blindness is a real thing.
And I saw it on social media yesterday. I saw a lot of people moaning. I saw this one Italian guy, and it got a lot of shares, say just basically begging the Serie A. Like he tagged the Serie A and he goes, "Serie A, I am begging you. I can't see cats. I can't see anything." Like,
was he Neapolitan?
Yeah, I can't see nothing. And like, it's. I mean, it's just unbelievable at a time when
it's a ridiculous oversight, and it's like they really should know this, but the thing is, do we expect them to even have the foresight of this? I mean, no,
clearly not.
It is sad.
I'm putting this on social. I hope after they see this, because they watch us, because they know that we hammer them all the time. You'd think that they would actually make it. I mean, there's a reason why you use a white board. It's so everybody can
yellow ball, yellow works.
Or yellow ball, yeah.
Yeah, it's the red and green contrast that people have color blindness. And I remember when we were kids in Sweden, everyone was tested for color blindness when we were like 10 or 11, 9, 10, 11, somewhere there. And I remember red on green was the one where a lot of people just could not see it. They just couldn't see it. And, it is what it is.
It's insane. It's insane because we are struggling so much with TV rights. Every single year we sell Serie A to less and less markets, less and less countries and areas that don't even show the Serie A. The value of the TV deals plummet every single year. Well, why the hell would a TV station buy your product if 8% of their male audience, and let's be honest,
watch.
Let's be honest, most football fans, there's an
male. We know this from the demographics. Yeah, we
know
do
the demographics of our pod. How much percentage of our
not just us, it's just generally we know that
we've seen the numbers in our own Italian football podcast. I think it's like 96% are male, something like that. So it's
8% of them can't watch the games.
Yeah,
because of just I don't know what to say. The bar isn't even on the floor. This is how low expectation. How low.
Can we use one of your bingo? Can we use another of your bingo?
It's not even.
The bar is so low. It's tickling.
Satan's testicles in hell. That's how low the bar is for me.
I love that one.
I have zero expectations here. This is how low it is.
It's unbelievable how stupid these people are. They are just so stupid.
It's mental. It really is mental.
Right, talking of stupid, right, let's move on. Let's quickly run through the rest of the fixtures. I want to start off with, where was the worst refereeing blunder? It was Torino 1, Cagliari 2. Now, not only this went from the sublime to the ridiculous. Now, first of all, Semih Kılıçsoy's goal, if I pronounced that right, is a contender for goal of the season. It was unbelievable. Individual solo goal. This guy's 20 years old, on loan from Besiktas, already played 4 times for Turkey. He's a big talent. Amazing dribble, left foot, in, out, curled it, bottom corner. Amazing goal. Watch out for this guy. I'm going to look forward to seeing a lot more of him for Cagliari. So Cagliari are an interesting team this season because they've obviously got Palestra as well, and they've got a lot of Italians. Cagliari, I like Cagliari. They're a team I'm rooting for this season because they're playing a lot of young players, a lot of Italian players, and they're doing well. But did you see the penalty that did not get given for Pagliari clattering Idrissi? It's the clearest penalty of the season. It's not given. Unbelievable that penalty is not given. I mean, the referees have been hammering it. I just can't believe what I'm seeing. Like, how can the referee look at that, the VAR look at that, and not give a penalty? You cannot get a clearer penalty. He's kicked it past him. He might have just tapped the ball before, but he's clattered him. He's completely wiped him out. So that's just insane. And
I think the reason for this is, again, how the confusion, the referees are confused. I think it's obvious that the referees in the Serie A from whether they are VAR or assistants or referees or whatever, they look confused. They don't know what they're supposed to do and how to interpret each situation. And I think the best example of that is the goal that Udinese scored, which became the winning goal against Udinese. And so the shot hits Keenan Davis's hand, and he goes, and then I think 6 or 7 seconds passed. There's a couple of dribbles. 9 seconds, something like that. Yeah. And he takes a couple of touches, it's passed, and then he scores. And Lazio are furious because they're like, well, you've all said that the handball rule, you can't score immediately after you've taken the ball in an advantage. So basically, I asked our patron, Alessandro Abizzani, who trains referees for the for AFC, which is the Asian Football Federation, FIFA referee. He teaches referees. He gets his, of course, instructions from IFAB and FIFA. And so I asked him, I always like almost cross-examine him in terms of how they are told to interpret situations. And he wrote to me, he says, look, it's non-punishable, so there's nothing to note because the arm was on the body when it was hit by a teammate. And both of those things make it not punishable. Also, he doesn't score immediately off it or after the touch. And I asked him, so the definition of immediately, what is it? And he basically says there's nothing specific in the sense that what to define immediately, but the considerations for immediately is there is no reset period after the contact with the ball. So there's no time for a control or a dribble as per the handball not being punishable. Key factor is the ball is unavoidable as it's a shot on goal, so he couldn't get out of the way. The arm is in a natural position on the body, meaning he looks like he's trying to move out of the way of the ball. It's down by his side. From a football understanding point of view, he doesn't gain anything by stopping that ball. There is there as it's a shot on goal. I mean, why would you use your hand there? We say it's no advantage from that touch. And this is, again, why I keep saying this season, Rocchi needs to go. His referees are all confused. There's no clarity and no coherence. They don't know what the handball rule is amongst themselves because every week there's something new. The same can be said about the VAR protocol, when it's supposed to intervene, when it's not supposed to intervene. This is a management issue. And all he does is go out on TV and throw the referee in question under the bus and send him to Serie B. That's not leadership. That is not how you run an organization. It's just, you're basically just covering your own ass. And you don't give a shit about the referee's understanding. It's lack of leadership. They don't know what the laws are. They know what the laws are, but they don't know how to interpret them in any given situation. And that's why you get these absurd decisions. And I think it's a shame. It really is a shame.
Yeah.
And Lazio, of course, proceeded to have a meltdown because, Lazio didn't, Lotito did, because Lotito treats the the Lazio official homepage and the Lazio social media account as his personal Twitter page. And he just, they went off on one, and the shit show is up and running. But you do understand the frustration, because there's complete confusion. Nobody knows what the requirements of the level is.
Personally, I'm just saying what I think the rule should be. I think that if you score after a handball, if it's 1 second, 3 seconds, or 9 seconds, if you've benefited from a handball and then scored, the goal should be disallowed. There's
also a situation. I think that's fair. I agree with that. But then you run into, and I don't disagree in principle with that, because I think, yes, if you gain an advantage from a handball and you score, but that's kind of written already. The issue is what is immediately. They say the way they interpreted it and the way that it should be applied is immediately, meaning within 1 second, meaning in the same movement. If the ball had hit Davis's hand and it stops by his foot and he shoots the ball into the back of the net, that's gaining an that
I agree with you. I understand the rule. I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, if you had an offside 9 seconds before, they would go back for that, and they would disallow the goal. So why is it different for a handball? Exactly,
and that's where you lack, because what they consider to be, the natural understanding football and allowing play to go on as much as possible and so on, and not intervene. I mean, that's the view they have in non-offside calls. I'm not defending it. I'm just explaining how it's been explained to me. But it does create these situations, and then you throw in the confusion that Rocky is not fit for purpose. And after 5-6 years of running this organization is more confused than it's ever been in recent memory. And it's like, well, the buck has to stop somewhere, and it has to be. He has to go. He has to go.
Yeah. I know you've made that pretty clear, and I agree. Right, Parma won.
Bring back Collina. Bring back Collina, please, God, bring back Collina.
Parma won. Fiorentina 0. A massive win in the relegation race for
Fiorentina.
For
are in a world of trouble.
Yeah, Fiorentina look in big trouble. But don't worry, everybody. There's somebody coming to the rescue for Fiorentina. His name is Fabio Paratici, who's about to be appointed a 5-year contract to basically run everything at Fiorentina. So, yeah, everything's going to be okay.
Well, I think he actually does well at a smaller club. I just don't think I think it's good. Well, compared to Prader, I mean,
Well, that's not hard, but yeah.
No.
Yeah. Right. Lecce 0 Como 3. Another Paz show, Nico Paz show, goal and assist. Como really have to be watched out for in the top 4 race, no doubt about that at all. And as we said, Udinese won, Udinese won, Lazio won, and Bologna won, Sassuolo won, with Roma playing Genoa on Monday evening. Okay, let's finish with. Oh no, we're not finished yet.
We need to do the Mercato.
Mercato quickly, yeah. So just a couple of quick segments. So, first of all, January transfer window. I'm going to run through 10 transfers to watch in January. First one is Joshua Zirkzee to Roma. And they're in negotiations. Zirkzee's already agreed to join Roma. Basically, they're waiting for the green light from Man United. Man United have some players out in the Africa Cup of Nations. They're probably going to need a replacement. Zirkzee wants to make the move. I think this is a transfer I think that will probably happen. There's obviously the deal itself. Will it be a loan with option or loan with obligation? What do United demand? But I think there's a good chance this one will happen. Then we've got Kobbie Mainoo to Napoli. We know that Napoli will sign 1, if not 2, midfielders in January. Mainoo wants to make the move. It's all pretty much done from player side. Again, it's about Man United giving the green light to this deal. They need a replacement. So, will it be a loan? Probably be a loan without an option or obligation. So, yeah, this is another one. I think there's a good chance it could happen. Füllkrug, Nicholas Füllkrug to Milan, that's already basically done. It just needs the official confirmation. I think he was actually in the stands for the game at the weekend. Then we've got, this is more of a long shot, Marco Palestra to Juventus or Inter. Both clubs love him. Both clubs would love to sign him, but he's on loan at Cagliari. He's owned by Atalanta. I don't think Atalanta want to sell him mid-season. When his value is only going to increase between now and the end of the season. Potentially gets called up for Italy, maybe even goes, we hope, to the World Cup. His value increases even more. I think unless there's a real massive offer, like fuori mercato, as they say, outside of the market, then I don't see this happening. But he's one that both Juventus and Inter want to sign, and both those clubs need a right wing back as well. Davide Fratesi. Nima laughs. Davide Fratesi he could leave Inter. Let's say that. We know Juventus are interested in him. We know Spalletti loves him. The money that Inter are going to be asking for, I don't know whether that could happen. But let's just say that I think he could leave Inter because he wants to. He wants to. Obviously, the World Cup. An eye on the World Cup as well. So Fratesi's one to watch out for. As is Lorenzo Luca. I think there's a good chance he could leave Napoli, probably on loan. There's interest in the Premier League. I think West Ham are looking at him. Nuno Tavares could definitely leave Lazio. It's all gone wrong for him after that brilliant first half to his first season. It's just it's become a disaster for him. Lazio probably need to sell before they can buy. So I think he could leave. Saudi Arabia probably the ones to watch out for there. And then Giacomo Raspadori, another one to watch. I think there's a big meeting this week to decide whether he leaves Atletico Madrid in January. There is obviously interest. Roma or Gasperini really loves him. Maybe some other clubs could come in for him as well. He's also got an eye on the World Cup and Italy. He wants more regular playing time. Matteo Perin to Genoa. That from the player to Genoa side is all done. He's agreed to join Genoa. He wants to become their first choice under Daniele De Rossi. It's whether or not Juventus give the green light. Juventus would need a replacement as well. And finally, Radu Dragozin from Tottenham, obviously former Serie A player with Juventus, with Genoa. There's a good chance that he will return to Serie A in January, leave Tottenham. There is some interest from, I think, Roma, but more so, I think, from Fiorentina, who certainly will be active. They will be very active in January, Fiorentina, as they try to save themselves from relegation. So anything you want to comment on that?
No, I think he summed it up really well. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens to Raspadori for the Italy national team. I think Roma and Gasperini would be fantastic for him. And for Roma, I think the way that he plays, I think Gasperini would do really well with him. It's interesting what can happen to Roma if with another player that we're going to discuss in a minute coming in. But other than that, I think he summed it up really well. Don't really have anything to add except for Perin going from Genoa to Juve, from Juve to Genoa, from Genoa to Juve, Juve to Genoa. It's like that back and forth is a rather interesting one. But I don't understand why Juve would want to get rid of him.
I think it's more him. He wants to leave.
Yeah, he's too good to sit on the bench. There's no doubt about that. But we'll see.
Yeah. And finally, just very, very quickly, obviously from January, Serie A clubs, like all clubs, will be able to negotiate pre-contracts with players on expiring contracts. So here are the best players available for free on a Bosman in 2026. I'm going to read through them. So there are Dusan Vlahovic, Mike Magnon, Deo Upamecano, Mark Guehi, Ibrahim Konate, Antonio Rudiger, Robert Lewandowski, Bernardo Silva, Serge Gnabry, Leon Goretzka, Jadon Sancho, John Stones, Ruben Neves, Weston McKennie, Paulo Dybala. So there are some of the biggest names available on a Bosman transfer. Obviously, some of these will be out of the reach of Serie A clubs because their wage salaries and the interest from big clubs will be not.
I'm a Serie A romantic, so I hope that Palermo comes up to the Serie A, and I hope Paulo Dybala goes there. That's all I'm going to say when it comes to Dybala. I think nothing more beautiful than him spending 2 or 3 seasons back in Palermo, returning, to Palermo where it all started, going full circle. I think that would be beautiful if Palermo, of course, make it to the Serie A. As for the rest, look, it's an interesting. I mean,
let's do. You know what? Off the cuff. Let's do a prediction on.
Okay.
Let me go through. Let's go through each name. I'll read it out, and then we both give a prediction of where this player will be playing.
Fine. That's
in
fine.
2026. So
Okay.
this will be a bit of fun, right? So I'll read out the name, then I'll say who I think. Then you say. Oh no, tell you what. I'll say the name. You say who you think they'll be playing for, and then I'll say who I think they'll be playing for. Okay. Dusan Vlahovic.
Milan.
Mike Maignan.
Chelsea.
Milan. I think he's going to sign a new contract.
I hope so. I really hope so. For the Serie A.
Upamecano.
As long as it's not Inter, I do not give a shit.
I think Real Madrid.
Thank God. Just do not go to Inter. Do not want to see him at Inter.
Mark Guehi.
Oof. I don't know. I think it's a difficult one.
Liverpool. Ibrahim Konate.
Well, isn't he going to stay at Liverpool? Aren't they negotiating?
I'm not sure. I don't know. For the last I heard, it wasn't looking good. But
okay.
You want to say Liverpool?
Yeah, that's what my understanding was, that he was going to stay there. But I could be wrong, of course.
Let me have a look.
That's my understanding.
Since I left football transfers, I've lost a little bit of my edge on when it comes to the Mercato. Konate contract. I haven't heard anything since the last 2 or 3 weeks. So
yeah, this is not.
I haven't heard anything else. I'm going to say Real Madrid.
Okay.
Antonio Rudiger.
I think back to the Bundesliga, but I don't know which club.
You think so? I'm going to say Saudi Arabia.
Okay, fair.
Robert Lewandowski.
I've already given Vlahovic to Milan, so I can't say Lewandowski to Milan. I do think he's good enough to play in Europe still, but I wonder if he doesn't go to Saudi.
He says he wants to stay in Europe, so let's go. If Vlahovic is going to Milan, let's say Juventus.
Juventus. I was thinking,
let's throw that one in. Let's throw in Juventus.
That's a good shout. I was thinking of that, actually. I think that makes sense because with the situation they have there.
Bernardo Silva.
Saudi.
Juventus.
Ooh.
They had interest in him. Serge Gnabry.
I think Premier League. I couldn't tell you who, but...
Okay. Leon Goretzka.
What about you? Where do you think Gnabry's going?
Gnabry, probably Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Let's finish off on the 2 Serie A ones. Weston McKennie.
I hope he stays at Juve because I want to hear you get angry about it.
MLS. Paulo Dybala.
I hope Palermo, not in January, but next season, he goes to Palermo, who are back in the Serie A.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Palermo as well. Okay, right. Baggio, Premface, and Serie ASS of the week. Baggio of the week. Nima, have you got anyone?
Well, I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, Semih Kılıçsoy, if that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that was just a truly special goal. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. Premface of the week.
There was one sent in from us about, I can't remember who it was, but it was I think I sent it to you as well. Canadian commentators. Sorry, it was on a Canadian show, I think it was. I can't remember what it was, but I sent it to you. It was about a week ago before Christmas. I basically zoned out for a week. But yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was something about
Premier League proven or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. I've got I can't remember who it was, but it was an interview with one of the England Lionesses about they were playing the kind of, who's better X or Y game. And the question was, it was from a BBC journalist. They asked who was better out of Beth Mead and Pele. The fact that was even a question.
It's not a serious question, is it?
Beth Mead or Pele? It was serious. The whole thing was serious. Who's better, Beth Mead or Pele? And the girl in question, she really had to think about it. She thinking about it really long and hard. And then, to her credit, eventually she did choose Pele in the end. But it was really, really tough. Like, she goes, "Oh, this is a really tough one. I mean, you could go either way. I mean, both legends of the game. I mean, Beth Mead or Pele. I mean, But I think we probably have to go Pele.
We all do. No.
Oh, my God. But before that, she'd chosen Beth Mead over a bunch of really top footballers. It was pretty hilarious.
I'm tired of this comparison. Stop comparing women's football with men's players. Why do we have to do that? There's no need to do that. I just think it's a stupid discussion. Let the girls have their own game. And I don't like when people make fun of them, and also I don't like when they try to make these crossovers. There's no need for it.
No,
leave them alone.
Did you see in tennis in tennis on Sunday, they had this battle of the sexes game between Nick Kyrgios and Sabalenka. And it's just what's the point?
Why are you doing what's the point?
It's just so stupid. I don't see who gains out of it.
No one gains from it.
We know the physical
Literally no one gains from it.
We know the physical advantages men have. What's the point? But
what are we trying to do? Because
Kyrgios,
for me, it's I love 2 years.
Or he'd won one game in 2 years. Sabalenka is the number one seed. But Kyrgios wins both sets, he wins, but it was just such gimmicky because both of them have got the same agent. Both of them have got the same agent. So and they were doing all these kind of trick shots and it's just what's the point? It was just stupid.
It's just gimmicky and stupid, and no one gains from it. No one wins from it, and I think it's actually demeaning to the women's game. I actually enjoy women tennis. I think it's actually one of the few sports where I actually find enjoyment in both the women's and the men's game. They have different qualities and they have their own dynamic and their own storylines. It's really entertaining. There's no need for this. There is no need for this. And it just makes a mockery of both the men's game and the women's game. I just think it's stupid. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And finally, Serie ASS of the week. Is this beIN Sports?
I've got one. No, I've got one. A beIN Sport. This is fantastic. So in their highlights, they've written a description: Atalanta v Inter, match highlights, AFCON 25. Apparently, Atalanta and Inter are an AFCON. It's an AFCON game.
Who was that?
beIN Sports in Australia.
Oh, they did it again. Oh my God. Yeah. They're having a bit of a shocker because the week before they had in beIN Sports in Australia, they used the Salernitana emblem instead of Torino for the highlights.
Yeah.
So they've done it again.
AFCON 25. I love that. AFCON 25. Brilliant.
God.
Atalanta Inter.
I hope the guy isn't colorblind as well. He's gonna have a lot of trouble. Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Give that guy a job. Give that guy a job at Serie A.
Unless they actually have outsourced it to the Serie A.
Well, yeah, that would explain a lot, I think. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it at that. So yeah, as we said, this is our last show of 2025. Obviously, with New Year's being in the middle of the week, we will
no games, of course, as well.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with normal programming. We'll resume. and it's going to be a busy month, lots of games, the January transfer market, and should be an exciting year ahead. So everybody, enjoy your celebrations and New Year's, and we wish everyone here all the best for 2026.
Take care, everybody. Talk to you in the new year.
See you next year. Ciao, ciao.